I would just like to add to Jess's point and Parav's and say that it's the fact that Wikipedia is constantly modified and constantly updated is what makes it so valid. If you have any other academic journal that's been published years ago and it's just sitting there and still available online, it doesn't make it valid anymore if it was published in 2000 or 2001. That's too old. We're living in a very fast-paced age and everything must be constant, and that's what Wikipedia provides. And that is why that's why it's trusted and reliable. There's always someone out there who learns new information, and the first place they go to is Wikipedia. And the first people who get the latest information are the Wikipedia users.
Thank you, Jan. Chintana.
I just want to say, regarding your point about how simple it is, right? Simplicity is what we look for. We don't want to get a medical book and go through it step by step by step and not understand a bit of Latin that is going on in there. We require simplicity. I mean, what was it? Human beings only remember 5 to 9 bits of information at any given time, right? So for that point, Wikipedia is so useful because it takes all that information and dumps it down so that even a layman can understand. Therein lies its usefulness. That's one of the user-friendly features that Jan spoke about.
Thank you, Chintana. Jessica.
Wrapping up sort of for our team, Wikipedia has a suspect sort of reputation within the academic world. We complain about its shortcomings, we do little about it, but secretly when no one's watching, we all use it, and that's pretty much a fact. But I have a logical question for all of you. If Wikipedia articles can be written, reviewed, re-edited by anyone and everyone, aren't they peer-reviewed just like the journals? So when professors require peer-reviewed articles, doesn't an article from Wikipedia technically count? I will answer that question for you and say yes, because as I said before, the only difference between, they're both peer-reviewed websites, the only difference is scholarly journals edited and edited before publication, whereas Wikipedia is edited afterwards.
Thank you, Jessica. Let's hear from Maha.
Thank you. I just add on very quickly. I'm very happy that you guys remember some of the lectures that I give you about the bits of information. Adding on to actually arguing Jan's notion about validity is a question, and we go back to the concept of peer review. It's a peer review of people who are experts in their field, who are able to evaluate whether that content is really valid. That's one. Secondly, we never denied that Wikipedia was not a good source of information. We just questioned the reliability and trustworthiness of a source, an online source, that has proven time and time again that it is not so reliable, because there is a question of vandalism, there is a question of misinformation being published online.
Thank you.
And gender bias.
Thank you, Maha.
Agenda bias, sorry.
Christina, 30 seconds.
I'll just complete Maha's point. It's not reliable because anyone can add or change content, which will mean that it will inherit a lack of reliability and stability. And the authors of the articles maybe don't have the background and the academic level to actually edit this content. Just to give you an example, coming back to vandalism, somebody actually went and re-edited the Reagan economics article just to show that it can be done.
Saba.
Okay. A lot of what you said pleased me tremendously because you all have very valid points. Wikipedia can indeed be considered a very valid and trustworthy source of information if certain safeguards are put into place. The problem is that you say that you're right, there is the positives of having constant re-editing available by anyone and everyone. However, that also results in vandalism or even mistakes done by people who don't know what they're talking about, people who are not educated or who haven't done proper research into the articles that they're commenting on. So if there were proper safeguards in place to ensure that people who actually did know what they were talking about when they contribute to Wikipedia, then it would be a safe, valid, reliable, and trusted source of information. But as it is right now, I can't stop the feeling of a 13-year-old writing. I can't stop the image of a 13-year-old writing Wikipedia articles out of my head.
Point taken, Saba. Thank you very much.
Sir, can we add to that, please?
That concludes our debate. But before we sign off, I want, by a show of hands, please, who supports the students in their argument? It's not about winning or losing. A show of hands, please, from the audience. And the lecturers, please. Show of hands. Where's your hands? Thank you very much. That concludes our great Wikipedia debate. And before we sign off, over to Brian.
Thanks. I would like to just make a point. I greatly support Wikipedia. I think it's a great thing. I'm a journalist and I'm based in Beijing. I'd like to just quote you something which is something none of you actually mentioned, is when somebody uses Wikipedia as a source and then it gets passed around the net and becomes truth because of that. As I say, I work in Beijing. There is, if you look up museums in Beijing, for instance, a lot of people talk about the Museum of Tap Water. Sounds brilliant, doesn't it? If you go into Wikipedia, it tells you all about the Museum of Tap Water in about 2 paragraphs. Very short and sweet. That's been picked up by an American author who's written a book called 101 Things Not to See Before You Die. Brilliant title. Everybody wants to read about it. Now, if you look across the web, you can find endless articles about the Museum of Tap Water in Beijing. It doesn't exist. It's actually called the Museum of Water Supply, and I've been there. And it is so inaccurate you wouldn't believe. I also have been to another museum called the Eunuch Museum. It's the only eunuch museum in the world. And if you read Wikipedia, you will get an idea of what the thing's about, and you go there and it is totally different. But if you look on the internet, there's loads and loads and loads of articles about this eunuch museum which are totally inaccurate because everybody's quoting it and then re-quoting it and re-quoting it, and that one mistake on Wikipedia has now been rife right across the internet, and that becomes everybody's truth. But in fact, it doesn't exist. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. I think you're 4 in your team now, and that balances out.
Sir, I want to make a comment.
A comment or a question?
No, a comment.
You're welcome. Questioners, I like
Yeah,
it.
actually, I'm a lecturer myself. I'm part of the academic team also. But as we move on to the information age or to the digital age, I think lecturers must also, or maybe the founders of Wikipedia must also look into the possibility of putting structure into this kind of system. Because as we all know, in the digital age, everyone is hooked in the computer more than 24 hours a day. Actually, if we can take it off, 26 hours a day. So I think we should look into like telling or sending a message off to the Wikipedia team that they should make everything valid and more reliable.
We should ask this team to do that. Pass on the message to Wikipedia. Farhana, you had a question.
Well, Borough made a point. He said that I would trust Wikipedia and scholarly journals equally. Now that to me is a little bit of a worry. At undergraduate level, maybe you're not in a position to actually assess the reliability of Wikipedia. Otherwise, I'm sure you wouldn't be able to make that statement. How can you compare something which is, like Sabah said, written by anyone and everyone to something that's written by an expert?
Good question, Porav. I think you have a good answer to that one.
What I've been saying throughout the past half an hour is that Wikipedia is not just edited by anyone and everyone. That's a misconception. Read up on it. It has experts who edit it, and it's not you and I. Even if we go and try to edit something, it has to go through a lot of phases to be put up there, for one. And secondly, why cannot we compare the two at the same level? Because if you do not trust Wikipedia because of the errors or the fallacies or the false reports on the website, then you shouldn't trust so many journals that have produced misinformed reports.
Point once
Those
again.
Those journals should be discarded and distrusted forever.
Point once again taken. We don't want to start another debate here. He's answered your question. Any more questions? There's another question. There, yes. The gentleman over there.
Yeah, let me just first say, before I get to the question, I walked in a few minutes late, and very, very high-level discussion here. I was really impressed. I couldn't actually tell who were the lecturers and who were the students. You guys come across very knowledgeable, so it's good. My question is for the gentleman, sorry, in the grey shirt. Yeah, you. One of the first things you said to me when I walked in, you said that Wikipedia is great because it's so easy, you have so little free time, that this is a great start. I need to know, why is it that you guys are in the premier media university at DIAC and one of the top universities from Western Australia? Why is the first thing you're looking for the easiest way out to get information?
Because you have to start crawling before you walk and then you run. So we start with Wikipedia, which is easy, and then we go on to journal sources, which are a little more complex, and then we go to online databases and have entire books. But we start with Wikipedia. You crawl, walk, run.
Porav, may I just help you there in answering as follows. We as lecturers advise them not to use Wikipedia as part of our lecturing.
I'm saying, look, I'm not as old as a lecturer, but I graduated in 2002 from the University of Western Australia, which is, again, close to Murdoch. I'm from Perth myself. And it's strange to me, like, when we would research our universities, we would go straight for white papers, for research tool. We would go to the library and look this up. Now, I understand that maybe as a starting point, just to get a general feel of what you're looking for, that Wikipedia is fantastic. But when you look through the sources, and again, the lecturer there, she made some extremely good points, that it's updated so regularly that I think it actually renders it invalid. And the lady with the Aussie accent that I could pick up from there, you actually made the point that you think that it makes it more valid. The fact that it's regularly updated, that they would change errors. I actually think if something is so strong and a very credible source, that it would be less likely to be edited myself.
Thank you very much, sir. We have to conclude. We have to wrap it up. Thank you very much for participating. Is there someone else there with a question? Let's have it. The very last question, please.
Thank you. I got just a very short comment on that. First of all, thank you all for the debate. It was nice listening from you. But I mean for the lecturers, you know, since we believe, by the way, I support them, since we believe that Wikipedia is not that reliable, so we're about working on a resource that will be like a Wikipedia, so that will be a trusted resource, I mean for the students and even for anyone in the world, because those kind of debates will not solve the problem, will not make Wikipedia available, you know, I mean resource. So I think if we work on a trust resource, that will be a lot better for the world. Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much, everybody. And let's sign off. Bye-bye.